Hello, in this video we are going to discuss the questions that we looked at in the quiz that we did yesterday. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so first question, which of the following shapes is a regular quadrilateral? So what we need to do is break down both words, regular and quadrilateral. Okay, quadrilateral means a shape with four sides. So you can see that each of these shapes, well, every single one of them has four sides. So based on that alone, it could be any of those. So the key word here is regular. What does regular mean? A regular shape has sides that are all the same length. So every side is equal length. So you can see that A, it can't be A because look, the sides are shorter than the top and the bottom. B, that's looking good, isn't it? Yeah, all the sides look like they're equal length. But just to make sure, you can see here that this top side is shorter than this bottom side, so it can't be that one. And D, these sides are shorter than the base and the top of that shape. So we know it's B. So the correct answer is B. It's a square. Question 2. How many acute angles are there in the shape below? Okay, so best thing to do here is to first of all locate the angles. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Okay, so now we just have to look at each angle one at a time to see whether or not they are less than 90 degrees. If they're less than 90 degrees, then we know that they are acute angles. So we can see this angle here. This looks like it's slightly more than 90 degrees, doesn't it? Yeah. I remember 90 degrees is where it meets perpendicular to the base, and it looks like it's slightly more, okay? So this is an obtuse angle. This one's an acute angle. We can see that actually, you can see it's slightly less than 90 degrees. And this opposite angle would also be an acute angle. So these two are acute angles, 1, 2, and these two are obtuse angles, okay? So there's 2 acute angles. So the answer is A. Right, next question. Roughly, how big is the angle below? Okay, so no human in the world could look at that angle and say exactly how big it is. No one, okay? You might be able to good guess, and that's all we need to do here is pick the answer which is most likely. And if that is too difficult, what you could do is rule out the ones that you know it definitely isn't. We know it's not 90 degrees, okay? Because it looks nothing like 90 degrees. It's not a right angle, is it? It's not 30 degrees because 30 degrees is less than 90 degrees, and that shape, that angle above is clearly a lot more than 90 degrees. So 170 degrees, it looks like it could be 170 degrees, and it certainly looks like it could be 170 degrees when we realize that actually it can't be 100 degrees because 100 degrees would only be slightly bigger than a right angle, whereas this angle is a lot bigger than a right angle, isn't it? So we know the answer is most likely to be B, 170 degrees. Next question. Which of the following statements cannot be true? Okay, my quadrilateral is irregular. Well, that can be true. You can have quadrilaterals that are irregular. We've already seen some in question 1. My quadrilateral is a parallelogram. That can be true. Parallelograms are quadrilaterals. B, my quadrilateral has 4 right angles. That can be true. Think about a rectangle and a square. They both have 4 right angles. So we've deduced B, C, and D. So we know the answer is A, but let's just make sure. My quadrilateral has 3 right angles and an acute angle. Okay, so if a quadrilateral has 3 right angles, now this is not going to be very neat, as you can see already. I can't draw straight. But if we imagine that this shape, this angle, and this angle is a right angle, well, when I join this side up with this side, it's going to create another right angle. So it's going to have 4 right angles, unless I draw a line diagonally, but then that eliminates this right angle. So it's not possible. A quadrilateral cannot have 3 right angles and an acute angle. Okay. So if you look once again at this shape, when we try to give it 3 right angles and an acute angle, what happens is we automatically get rid of the right angle that created the shape. So let me show you what I mean with, let me do it with straight lines. It'd be easier to show you. So there's, let's draw a quadrilateral. So I've got 2, at the moment I've got 1 right angle, okay, on the screen. Now if I draw another line upwards, I've got two right angles, okay? Now, let me create a third right angle. There's a third one, okay? But look, as it joins, it forces me to have four right angles. The only way I can avoid this is if I angle it outwards like that, or angle it upwards like that. But by doing that, this side here, or this angle here, can't be a right angle, all right? So I hope that made sense. It's definitely something that you should try yourself on paper so you can clearly understand what I mean. But you can't draw a quadrilateral that has three right angles and an acute angle. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is the combined value of the angles in a triangle? Okay, every single triangle has 180 degrees. There are no exceptions. So the answer is C. Next question. How many right angles are in the image below? Well, first of all, let's locate all the angles. There's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's five, there's six. How many of those are right angles? That one's a right angle, one. That one's a right angle, two. That one's a right angle, three. That one's a right angle, four. This one and this one, they aren't right angles, are they? So there's only four right angles. Well, there's four right angles. So the answer is A. Okay. Next question. What is the size of the angle indicated by the red arrow? Okay, we should know now that on the straight line, the angle on a straight line is 180 degrees. So if we imagined an angle to go like that on a straight line, we know that the size of that whole angle would be 180 degrees. The whole of the red angle there is 180. So if that has been split into two, this portion would be 107 according to the diagram, which means this portion should be whatever remains in order to take this number up to 180, which is 73. So the answer is C, 73. 73 plus 107 is 180. Okay, next question. Which shape has the most angles? Okay, regular pentagon, a scaling triangle, an irregular quadrilateral, or a rhombus. Okay, so 4 sides in a rhombus, 4 sides in any irregular quadrilateral, 3 sides in any type of triangle, regardless of whether it's a scaling or not, 5 sides in a pentagon. So the answer is A. A has 5 sides. It has the most sides of all of those shapes. The next question. Between which sizes are obtuse angles formed? Okay, so remember, an obtuse angle, if this is a right angle, then an obtuse angle would be any angle which is bigger than 90 degrees, but smaller than 180 degrees. So any of these angles between 90 and 180 are obtuse angles. So the answer is D, between 90 and 180 degrees. Next question. Finish the description. My triangle has 3 angles. Angle A is 40 degrees. Angle B is 110 degrees. Okay, and then it gives us some options. Angle C is 60, 50, 40, or 30. So if we know that triangles always have 180 degrees, all I need to do here is add those two together. Angle A is 40, angle B is 110. Add those together, we'll get 150. So we know the remaining angle, the last angle, must be 30 degrees because 40 plus 110 plus 30 is 180, and the triangle has 180 degrees. So the answer must be D. Okay, a little bit of comprehension, true or false. So we've got a text here. I won't read through the text right now, but I'll refer to the parts that we need to refer to. Question 11, Jonathan loves completing tests. Quite a few people wrote true, but look, it's Simon that likes completing tests because it says, Simon sat patiently in his cold plastic chair, waiting for his waiting for his teacher to finish giving out the instructions. Unlike his best friend, Jonathan, he absolutely loved completing tests. So Simon loves completing tests. That's what that little passage is saying. Simon loves completing tests, unlike his best friend, Jonathan. Therefore, that means Jonathan doesn't like completing tests. So the answer for this one would be false. The next question is, Simon waited a while before answering any questions. That's also false because If we look at the last paragraph, the bottom, it says, the teacher gave the class the instructions to begin the test, and without any hesitation, Simon's head was in his paper. So what we can infer from that is, well, the word hesitation, it means to wait, doesn't it? It means just to sit and wait for a little while. Well, Simon didn't hesitate. As soon as he got his paper, he was in his paper, which means he was buried in his paper. He had his head in his paper and he was doing those questions as soon as he got the paper. So no, he did not hesitate. He did not wait a while. So the answer is false. And the last comprehension question, I think this is the last one. Perplexed can also mean confident. Okay, so you can use the text here. If you didn't know what perplexed meant, you can use the text to help you. It says, Simon's head was in his paper, quickly and confidently ticking box after box. That shows that he's confident, right? If Simon's head's in his paper and he's quickly and confidently ticking the box after box, that would show that he's pretty confident. But then it says, Jonathan, on the other hand, looked perplexed. So Jonathan, on the other hand, that means Jonathan is feeling a way which is different to Simon. That's what is meant by on the other hand. Okay, he's feeling the opposite of Simon. So he's not feeling confident. He looked perplexed, which obviously can't mean the same thing as confident. So perplexed can't mean the same thing as confident. It doesn't. They are not synonyms. So the answer is false. Question 14. Okay, so we just need to put A, B, C, or D into the blanks. His ankle injury has completely his chances of being selected for the school football team. Okay, the only word that makes sense here is hindered. Okay, his ankle injury has completely hindered his chances of being selected for the school football team. Hindered means to make more difficult. So his ankle injury has completely made it more difficult for him to be selected for the school football team. So hindered is the correct answer there. The next question, she found the whole experience blank. After all, the whole audience was staring and laughing at her. Okay, so the key here is to think about how this character might be feeling. If the whole audience is staring and laughing at you, that isn't a very nice experience. That's quite a scary experience. So we've got to think about which one of these words is close or is closest to sort of feeling a bit worried, embarrassed, or scared, something along those lines. We know it's not allowing. That wouldn't make any sense. Inepting doesn't make any sense. Hindering, it might make sense. You might be able to. I mean, she found the whole experience hindering. I guess it kind of makes sense, but not in the context that this sentence is going for. Okay, she found the whole experience harrowing would be the correct answer, because harrowing means upsetting and it means stressful. And it makes sense because harrowing belongs to a character who might be experiencing the sort of feelings that this character is experiencing when the audience is laughing and staring at her. Yep, so harrowing is the correct answer. Next question, which of the following words is synonymous with made difficult? Okay, in other words, which of the following words means a very similar thing or the same thing as made difficult? And as we've discussed, the word hinder means to make difficult. So the answer is hinder. Next question, which of the following words is synonymous with lack of ability? Which word means a very similar thing to lack of ability? And of all those words, it's inept. Inept means when you don't have the skill or the experience or the knowledge to do something. So inept is the answer. Okay, let's move on to a new question type, letter sequences. All right, so as discussed last time, one of the first things I would do in a question like this is if there's no immediate relationship between the two letters L and T. If I'm looking at L and T and I'm thinking, I can't see why L and T would ever relate, then what I would do is actually start thinking more about how each first letter of each sequence, how they relate. So if we compare all the first letters of the sequence, we've got L, K, J, and I. And then if I refer to the alphabet, I've got L, K, J, and I. And I can see actually the first letter is going back. It's going back one in the alphabet. So I know that H would be the first letter of the next sequence, or the next, I can't speak today. H would be the first letter of the answer. And then I've got to look at the second letter of each code, and T, U, V, W. Let's put that in the alphabet. T, U, V, W. It's just going up once, isn't it? Okay, so the next one would be X. So the answer to this question would be HX. HX would be the next letter in the sequence. Okay, so once again, like I did last time, I'm not going to talk through all of them. I'm just going to ask that if you didn't know how to do this when you gave this a go, have a pause the video now and have a go, remembering what I just spoke about and what it is we need to be looking at. So pause the video, have a go. Then you can try this one. So once again, if you want to pause the video and have a go, please do so. Okay, and the final section of our mini quiz was multiplications. Now, we've got to be quite good at multiplications and we've got to be quite speedy. So it won't do me much good going through the answers with you now. There's no point of me telling you what the answers are because you can't memorize every single answer. What you need to do is if you think you didn't do very well with this section, is you really need to practice your multiplication, your times tables. And if you are good at times tables but found that you didn't have enough time to complete this section, then what you need to do is not only work on your multiplication and your times tables, but you need to work on the speed. Okay, so set yourself some targets. Try to get quicker each time. Something like this should be taking you, less than 2 minutes to complete. I want to actually, you know what? As a challenge, see if you can answer all of these in less than a minute. Set yourself a timer and answer these questions. Okay, then get a calculator and see if you are correct. But it's no good me going through all these with you because, as I said, what's the point? I could tell you what the answers are, but you can't remember the answer to every single multiplication question. So you're going to have to learn the times tables all by yourself. Okay, now, thank you for watching. I do hope that if you were confused with any of the questions that I've cleared it up. But of course, if you do need any extra help, just let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.